And we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. You might as well say that this is part 2 of the Everton Palace preview, as we've already done one literally 2 weeks ago today. We did one for the game at Selhurst Park, but it went to a replay. So we're doing one for the game at Goodison Park as well. I'm joined by Tristan. And Tristan, mate, 12 days without Palace as we speak.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Are you feeling a bit more optimistic, or how are you feeling?
It's mixed emotions, we haven't played in a while. It's not as much as we're not talking about what's been going on the pitch, because obviously, last time, was it 12 days ago against Everton in the cup in the third round, and that, in the first game, it was pretty poor. We couldn't score against 10 men. It was disappointing. It was a frustrating and painful evening. I think it's mainly been the talking point has been John Textor obviously wanted to sell up, and that's been a major talking point. A lot of criticisms, and fans like myself have been on Parish's back, begging him to sign players. We have been linked to a lot of players, and it's looking more active right now in this January window than it was 2 weeks prior, and that, to be fair. So it's a bit of negative. There's a little bit of positives in that, to be fair, regarding us being linked to players that potentially could be signed in this January window, and that, to be fair. So, and obviously there's the game tomorrow, and then we're playing again Saturday at 12:30, less than 3 days later after tomorrow's match. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the players are going to get through it. But listen, there's no excuse for saying, look, the players are going to be tired. We've had basically 12 to 13 days rest, really. So they've had a long break. They've gone away. They need to come back strong and start performing and getting results and playing some good football. I know we got Elise out injured, but we still got to give it our best. We know what these players are capable of. So just go for it and play some of the young players in that as well, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. So that's what I'm looking to see, over the next couple matches this week, because this week could either be the week that turns our season around somehow, or it could be a turning point, because if we lose both of the games and we don't play well, then the pressure's going to be on Roy and Parish, and it's going to be an interesting end to January for us. A lot's going to happen, I'm not going to lie. So I'm a little bit optimistic, but a little bit kind of 50-50 to where we stand as a club right now overall. But this week will show, we'll be able to judge the team on the back of these two performances, away at Everton tomorrow, then away Saturday at Arsenal.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Look, I think all you just said there really sums it up. Really, the thing is that looking at let's first of all look at the game at Selhurst Park. Everton didn't make a lot of changes to their team, nor did. I mean, apart from their goalkeeper, I think that was all that was changed, really. And mind you, nor did Palace. We saw Matheus Franca's debut. I think he impressed until Roy, in my opinion, stupidly took him off.
To knock his confidence.
yeah, exactly. I think he made 1 or 2 other changes. The thing is with Palace is that we haven't got the most flexible team. It is going to be more or less the same team that we have playing the league. We just got to hope that the draw goes our way. And, talking about the draw, we will play either Luton or League One Bolton at home as we speak. They are currently playing. So if I'll give you any up. Oh, Bristol City have just scored against West Ham inside 3 minutes.
Mate, I'm behind. I'm a minute behind.
Oh my God! Right. Okay.
I'll still watch it.
Possible upset there. Interesting
stuff. Yeah.
So I'll give you updates from Bolton's ground if anything happens there, because we will play either one of the 2 teams at home if we do beat Everton. Now let's talk about the game at hand. Everton away. We haven't got a great run at Goodison Park. If I look at the stats, if I remember rightly, I'm going to just check this. Palace haven't beaten Everton at Goodison Park since September 2014.
That's nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah, nearly 10 years ago. We do play Everton away in the league in a month's time. So,
on a Monday night.
That could change.
Yeah, thanks, Sky TV.
Everton are unbeaten in their last 8 games at home against Crystal Palace, winning 5 and drawing 3. The thing is, looking at all these stats, they're really going against us.
Don't surprise me, mate. 10 years.
But only Palace have played 3 away FA Cup games against Everton, with our only win coming a century ago. January 1922 was the last time Crystal Palace
Over
went
a
to
century
Everton
ago.
and got a
102
win in the
years.
FA Cup.
That is nuts, that is.
Everton
Jesus.
have won their last 4 FA Cup replays at home. Their last defeat was against Bolton in 1994.
We're massive underdogs. After hearing that, no surprise, we're massive underdogs from all the pundits and the critics and that in all the gossip. Jesus Christ, that is.
And Palace have been. I mean, this is
us.
what we should be aware of, really. Another chance for Bristol. Okay, Palace have been eliminated from their 3 of their last 4 FA Cup third round matches, with the exception coming in Patrick Vieira's first season when we made it all the way to Wembley. And this is our first replay since 2017 when we played Bolton, funnily enough, where we could play in the fourth round if we were to get the win. But so look, am I optimistic going into this? Not really. I don't think a lot of Palace fans are optimistic going into this. Obviously, we'd like to see. We want to see is hopefully a result, obviously, but then we've got we want to see more effort than we did in the initial game at home. I think the game at home was flat.
I thought, I'll talk about that. I thought the atmosphere was flat. You know, the energy on the pitch was what just wasn't. We weren't at it, mate. You know, we were having chances, we were running towards it, but you could just see we were never going to score. You know what I mean? And that was the frustrating thing. And it was so predictable, the football. You know, it wasn't the same in the atmosphere, apart from the HF in the middle of the goal. You know, making all the racket and that. That was all you could hear. It's just a bit dead, you know. And it was on a Thursday night, bear that in mind. Do you know what I mean? It's not the best day to play an FA Cup third round match. It's a bit crap, to be honest. Honestly,
mate,
honestly,
the thing is, I think we could still be sitting in Selhurst Park now, and we wouldn't have scored.
Exactly. Next year, we still wouldn't have scored.
Like going forward was not great. Roy's lineup wasn't. Crap. It weren't great. The substitutions weren't great.
Too late the subs, in my opinion.
It made the fans a lot more flat, to be honest. I can just see
this season as well.
I can just see it being a smash and grab 1-0 Everton win, because let's look at Everton's side of it. Looking at Everton's side of it, they played well, as we speak, 2 days ago, go into 3 when we they played Aston Villa at home in the league.
Yeah, rubbish.
It was a 0-0 draw. Watched some of it. Let's be honest, I don't think both teams really looked like scoring.
It was a flat match.
And will Everton
too much? Yeah.
And will Everton really want that game? Literally yesterday, they were going on about the financial fair play, and they're getting more points deducted. It might be a massive morale dip for Everton, and I think we could go out there and get something from it, but it is Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
We don't know. So anyway,
I don't know what side's going to show up.
Let's talk about the lineup. So there's been no real injury news that's different from the game against Everton at Selhurst Park.
Nothing recent in that.
Not really. Roy Hodgson's confirmed that we don't have Elise again.
Apparently Elise isn't going to be back to the Sheffield United game, so hopefully we have him back for that, and then we go into the Brighton game with him. We've got to be optimistic. I mean, he's been out for nearly a month. They only said it'd be like 3 to 4 weeks, so I expect him to be ready for that Sheffield match. And if he's not, then I'm probably saying for the Brighton game, because we need him for that big time, to be fair. Honestly.
Yeah, 100%. There's no Jordan Ayew as well due to AFCON, but we had that before Everton as well. So do you think Roy should change anything that he did against Everton at Selhurst, or do you think he'll keep it the same and just try and do something with it?
I mean, we're talking about Goodison Park. It's a tough place to go. We haven't won there in nearly a decade. The fans are really hostile. They make opposition teams like us, they make our lives hell. They've done it in the past. I went there last season, and the fans were right behind the Everton side, and we were just naive, and it got to our heads, and we were just weakened us down as a unit. And every time we go to Goodison Park, I feel like as a team we're very shy, we're always intimidated, and we're not at our strongest. And we can't even seem to put the ball in the back of the net at Goodison Park frequently, and that, to be fair. So I think, knowing Roy, he's going to try and go with an experienced, strong team. However, if it was me, I'd change it around and just take more of a risk. Dean Henderson's obviously going to start because God knows when Sam Johnson's back. The back four, I'd say he'll keep it the same. He'll keep the usual lot with Mitchell, Gay, Anderson, and Klein. In the midfield, I play Ozo alongside Richards, and then I play Eze and Cam. And on the right-hand side, Raksaki. On the left-hand side, Mateus Franco. Up front, Odson Edwards. These are players that are hungry. Edward, I know he doesn't work his socks off sometimes, but he scores goals. He's our top scorer with 7 goals, and he works his arse off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with the likes of Elise missing and Aya as well, he's got no choice but to start Raksaki, who is an actual winger, because there's, Palace fans who are saying Schlupp's going to start. Well, I don't know what you've been watching this season, because Raksaki is miles better than Schlupp. He's an actual winger. It's no point playing a centre mid out of position on the wing. You can't even bloody kick a football, can't even run straight, can't even dribble past players. And most of the time when you put him on the wing, he's completely lost, and he decides to move deeper into the midfield instead of making a dart and attacking runs forward, and that, in my opinion, that being Jeffrey Schlupp. So play Raksaki. He's just come back from injury. He's been in training for the last 3 to 4 days, I believe, in that as well with the first team. This is the perfect game. It's an FA Cup game. If he doesn't start him tomorrow, he's never going to start him, is he? Do you know what I mean? I'd say Raksaki, on the right-hand side, and Franco on the left on that as well. Frank has definitely got to start. I was impressed with him in our last match against Everton, and he needs to actually play 90 minutes, and Roy not to take him off towards the end with 20 minutes to go, because he was our most direct, threatable player in that, to be fair, unlike the others that played that night. So that's the sort of lineup I'll go for in that. But it wouldn't surprise me if he goes with a boring old predicted lineup and starts bloody Mateta up front with Edward, or play Schlupp in the middle or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's Roy Hodgson after all. But I really hope he changes up, and I really hope he learns from his mistakes in tactical school, because I'm assuming that's where he's been over the last 12 days, hopefully. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, hopefully, but the thing is, right, you mentioned about Jeffrey Schlupp.
Yeah.
I don't think fans are saying that he'll play because they want him to play. I think they're saying he's going to play because Roy loves him for some reason.
He's obsessed with him.
He's obsessed with him. He'll probably start him. And you said about there's no point putting him out of position. Well, that's what Roy does, isn't it? Like
bizarre management.
He played Mateus Franco on the right-hand side.
But because Eze was playing, that's why you can't play both of them in that position together. Do you know what I mean? So Eze's not a good wing. I think Franco's better on the wing than Eze is. Do you know what I mean? But
but then
I get your point a bit, though.
But then he should do something called utilising the squad. Then he should put Franco on the left, and then maybe, just maybe, there's someone called Malcolm Ebiowei on the bench that we haven't seen. Put him on the right-hand side, see what he can do. But then he was on the bench. He was on the bench against Everton.
I can't remember the last time he kicked the ball for us. Christ almighty. Honestly.
Yeah, well,
that says more about Roy with the youngsters, isn't it?
It's all about, the FA Cup for a Premier League side especially is all about giving the players that don't play regularly in the Premier League a chance. And
step up in that,
Did Roy do that? Not really. I mean,
putting Ozo on the bench was criminal enough, but to take Franco off with 20 minutes to go for everything to go down to 10 men shows how negative and uninspiring Roy is as a manager. How stubborn and weak he is, weak-minded, and not up to terms with his modern day era.
And then what did he do? He had Mateus Franco on the right, and so he took him off and replaced him with a Hamada on the right.
Make it make sense. Amada's a Cam. He's not a winger. He's not good enough. The physical, side of Amada on the wing ain't good enough compared to how he is in the middle. He prefers to be in the middle. Play them in an actual position, you'll get the best out of them. When Vieira's manager, he brought him on at times and as a Cam, and he was running at players. But when you chuck him on a wing, he's not that much of a threat. He doesn't impact the game as much. You know what I mean? It's like chucking Eze out on the left-hand side, because when he brought him on after his injury a month ago, he was crap because you're playing him out of position. When you put him back in Cam, we saw what he could do against Brentford. You know what I mean? Against Everton, I mean, he wasn't at it. You know what I mean? No one was at it, to be fair. But if you play them consistently in their actual position, you're gonna get the shining product. You know what I mean? You're gonna get the the Eze that we saw of last season. He got double figures in 10 goals. Stop putting him out on the wing because it don't make sense, and he finds it uncomfortable. He clearly does, because he bloody was ferocious when he came back from injury because you're playing him out of position. Roy never learns, man. He never learns, and that's what really frustrates me. He could do so much more and so much better with this squad, and he just makes it hard for himself, man. It really pisses me off. I don't know about you lot, honestly, and yourself, Mason.
Yeah. So for me, with the lineup, the only difference is I would be cautious with injuries, especially how we have Arsenal on Saturday. Hopefully, by the way, guys, I'll do a preview for that as well. But the thing is, with that Arsenal game, is that Arsenal haven't had great form. If we can expose that, we might be able to get something out of that game at the Emirates. But anyway, let's focus on this game.
Yeah.
With the lineup, you've got to play Henderson in goal. Back four.
Henderson, yeah.
I would suggest what I said before, which was put Richards at centre back, take Gay out, put him on the bench, and then put Ozo with Lerma. But the thing is that I don't think Roy can afford to have Lerma get injured. I don't think Roy can afford Lerma to get injured because we've already got a key DM injured, which is Doucouré. If we then have Lerma injured, we can replace one of them with Ozo. But who else? What else are we going to do? Will Hughes?
He's not good enough, Will. He ain't good enough for me, in my opinion. Between now and the end of the campaign.
So what I'm saying is, I would say it's probably not going to work, and I'm probably going to get a lot of stick for this. But I would have the back four as Mitchell, Anderson, Richards, Klein, and a DM partnership of Ozo and Will Hughes. What other chances has he got? What other players has he got? We're going to talk about Killian Phillips soon, but maybe if we had him sooner, then we might have been able to play him tomorrow night.
Yeah.
But there you go. So I reckon you got to have Ozo and Hughes. Do I think Roy will make those changes? Absolutely not. That's what I just think might happen there. Then your front three, I think you've got to give Mateus Franca another go.
On the left, yeah, definitely.
On the left. Do not play him on the right, please. Because we've been calling out for Franca. We've been calling out for Franca to start all season. All of us get so hyped up when he's actually on that starting 11. And then when we see him out on the pitches on the right-hand side, I mean, come on. So you've got to have Franca on that left-hand side. Even though I said worry about injuries, I think you've still got to have Eze on that in that can.
Yeah, he's the only one who's got
because he's the only one that's going to be able to get us them crucial goals. Bolton have scored against Luton.
Ooh, interesting. So,
again, that makes it a very, very interesting game because it'll be a favourable draw for whoever wins tomorrow if Bolton at home is the fourth round game. But anyway, on the right, this is where I'm a little bit confused in a way because no Elise, no Ayew. Roy's not starting Ebiowe, and he has to start
Raksaki. You've got no option but to see who else would you play? Who else would you play? Reader bloody Schlupp, do you know what I mean?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Raksaki's the only. We've got a right winger available. When this is an FA Cup replay, play him. If you don't start him, it's just got to be like, what are you playing at, Hodgson? Got to start him. No excuses, man. Seriously.
Yeah. Quick reply from Luton, 1-1. That was quick.
Madness. Less than 30 seconds
left. Yeah. Anyway, up front, I think this is where I'm a little bit again confused because Mateta, he's not the best, but I do think over the past couple of games, he has done bits. He has done bits of good quality play that I think we could utilise in this game. But I think it'd be better utilised off the bench because I think over the past couple of games as well, I've seen towards the end of the game, Mateta's lost steam. He loses steam so quickly.
He ain't fully fit, mate.
Mateta needs to be an impact sub and bring Odsonne Edouard back in slowly. He was on the bench came on in the last 15 minutes or so against Everton in the first game. Start him. start him against Everton, see what he can do, and then we'll see. What that's a great comment. It's like Jeff Stelling suddenly lost 40 years. He's talking about me, I'm assuming.
Oh my
Thanks
God.
for that.
Oh no, that is too
I don't know how to
funny.
react to that. Bloody hell. But anyway, yeah,
Take it as a
I just think that Edouard needs to start. And then on the bench,
No,
again,
never.
I talked about the bench before. You've got either Matthews or Whitworth, whoever, I don't care really. Centre backs, you've got Mark Gahey, James Tompkins. Midfield, you've got put Lerma on that bench. Put Lerma on the bench. And then you've also got Hughes as a backup. Right?
Yeah.
Then your attackers, you've got Mateta, you've got Schlupp, you've got Ebiowe, and you've got Hamada.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Hamada's another one as well. Yeah.
So you have actually got you have got a choice there. So that's the thing is, right, it's hard to talk about it because literally 2 weeks ago we talked about the exact same game. So the fact we've done 20 minutes on the game is brilliant. So let's get on to the Palace news that we've been hearing about over the last 12 days.
And about this,
first of all, we have the biggest news of the lot. John Textor. Now, I didn't know, first of all, that John Textor had 45% stake in the club. I thought it was less. And Steve Parish only has 10%. Like, again, I thought that was a lot more.
Oh, God.
And I'm assuming Harris and Blitzer have
Let
the rest.
I got a little sign here. So Texter, like you said, has got 45%. Steve Parish 10%. Josh Harris has got 18%. David Blitzer has 18%. Some guy called Robert Franco has got 5%, and other investors only 4% in that. So yes, a lot of people associated in our boardroom at Palace. I'll tell you that for a fact. No wonder it's all going up in smoke right now. Honestly.
Fair enough. Now, I've had a lot of mixed responses from this, especially that I've made content on it on TikTok and YouTube. Go check out my video if you haven't seen it already. But what's your thoughts on it, Tristan?
Well, my thoughts on it, well, it don't surprise me one bit. Now, last season in January, a year ago, this January window, 2023, last year, sorry, John Textor allegedly put in 30 mil for us to spend on players, and Parish turned it down. Parish, the parasite, he turned it down, didn't he? Of course he did. Now, over the last few weeks, it's been building up. That Textor wants to sell out, he wants out, and it's not looking good, to be fair, for the club and that, But there are some positive side of it. Now, Harrison Blitzer could potentially invest, as John Textor sells out and goes and that, and we may have some money to spend this January window or in the near future and that. But overall, it's not surprise. It don't surprise me, man. Steve Parish, 10% share in the club. Texas got the most, share in Crystal Palace, and the fact that Parish, who seems to be the main cause, seems to be the main sort of man in charge, he's basically blocking John Textor from putting the money in and that to invest in Crystal Palace, not just last year, but this summer as well, probably. Obviously by the looks of it, this January window. So, Parish seems to be kind of sort of trying to take lead, and he's failing pretty miserably, to be honest with you. I mean, John Textor, no wonder he wants to leave. He's probably sick of working with Steve Parish as a business partner, because Parish isn't giving him anything. He's giving him no options. He's not communicating with him. I mean, Parish spends more time drinking and bloody doing gear and that than he does flipping communicating to the board members at Crystal Palace. Do you know what I mean? He didn't even communicate to his own supporters.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? Do you know what I mean? The guy is just... I'm sorry, but it's true. The guy is just a complete clown. He's an absolute embarrassment, and I could see why Texas wants to bail out and probably go back, being in charge. Well, still being in charge and taking more responsibility and, showing more interest in the likes of Leon Potavego. He's the main owner of them two clubs and that as well, to be fair. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, to be honest, and fair play to him. If you got a stake that high, with 45%, and Mr. Parish has got 10%, and your money's not getting used, and Parish is making you look like a fool and a mockery, no wonder you want to bail out and leave. Do you know what I mean? It's been coming, man. It's been coming. And this might actually, if this does go ahead, if we does sell out this January, it might help us just about before the end of the window. But it's going to be a mad end to the January window. Who knows what's going to happen? But it's a very, very interesting topic to talk about right now because it's an ongoing process.
Look at this. He said about him doing gear and he's done the nose emoji. Oh my God. Okay. And then we've got Palace bad Stelling. Great. That's a good one.
Honestly.
But yeah, look. There's positives and negatives to it because the positives are John Textor's having none of it from Steve Parish because it's been made very clear to us that whenever John Textor proposes a new idea, Steve Parish 9 times out of 10 says no. And John Textor's probably going, well, hang on a minute here. I have 35% more than you do in this club.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're telling me what to do.
Ridiculous,
I'm not having it. Like I wouldn't have it if I was in his shoes. I wouldn't mind to be a fiver behind him either, but there you go. But the thing is, right, is that with him going, though, what I don't want is for the same kind of investor to come in and do the same thing, which is to put up with Steve Parish's non-progression.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the fact that he's going, and there is a chance that we could have a new investor come in with a huge amount of money that can actually sit down with Steve Parish, talk things over, try and progress this club to the next level as he wants it to. But I'll be okay with it if we actually do get the right man in. That's the only. That's the only trouble.
Someone that's passionate, someone that cares, someone that listens to the fans, someone that knows a bit about football, someone that communicates to the supporters, man, that's going to invest summer in, January out, you know what I mean, with the money, you know, and he's just going to be consistent. You know, look at Fulham owner, someone like that. Look at the Leicester City owner in the past who gave a damn about the fans, who was so close to the community. That's what we kind of need right now, to be fair. Not some guy who's bloody going to go out partying and then the only time he bloody speaks to the fans is when it's on a flipping podcast or the Palace for Life Foundation or something. We need to get real, man. You know, it's all about the money. It's all about the investment. It's all about the players we bring in and out of Crystal Palace. 100%. It's all about our reputation. You know what I mean? It's all about processing and, you know, just moving forward as a club. Getting some good players to play better football, to win more games, to get us up that league. Not about this Parish stand. The only reason why Steve Parish is still at Palace, in my eyes, is because of the Parish stand. You know, whenever this stand's going to be done, whether it's in the next 2 years, 3 years, or whatever, after that, I guarantee you he's going to walk. The only reason he's still here is because of his so-called Parish stand. That's the only reason why the mug's still at the club. You know what I mean? That's, you know, that's why he hasn't sold up. That's why he didn't sell up 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Do you know what I mean? That's why he ain't going to sell up now. You know, and that's why he's blocking John Textor and the others from bloody putting their money in for us to sign players.
100%,
you know, to try and take us to the next level. It's absolutely just madness. He's literally become a meme by saying we're going to take this club to the next level. Yet you bloody say to John Textor, nah, I don't want your money. We're just going to wait for another 2-3 years and then I'll accept your money for us to sign players. It's like, make it make sense. It's an absolute mess from top to bottom, Mason. I don't know about you, but it's starting to really just get under my skin. Because now we know the full picture of it. Parish has got a lot of questions to answer to. I'm not even going to lie, honestly.
The thing is, right, that the way I see it, right, is that now with the news coming out initially that John Tex is looking to sell up, the trouble is that now we now know, I think we knew it anyway, but we all now know for definite that there's definitely toxicity, if that's a word.
Toxicity.
That's it.
Toxicity. I think I said it right.
You think I'm Steve Parish doing the gear and all that. But there's definitely something wrong within the board. And the thing is, I think you'll get to a point where John Textor has to walk. Now the news has come out. I would just go, like, if it were me.
Yeah. Exactly. So staying for that.
So we'll see how that goes. And while we've been mentioning the January window at parts, let's talk about the main transfer news. So come the first 10 days, and Danny Ings was mentioned from West Ham, who is currently playing for a West Ham team that is still 1-0 down at Ashton Gate. So
Bristol City,
so we'll see what happens there. But I think that it's a very, very lazy option. I mean, to go 10 days without any links, and then the best player you can come up with is Danny Ings, a guy who's not scored for West Ham in 26 matches.
Washed. He's a washed
Like,
player, mate.
like I would have accepted it if we was looking at Ings in 2019, 2020, even 2021 or 2022. Not now.
Yeah, I know. We've been linked with him before, and he picked West Ham and like Villa over us. Do you know what I mean? Over them 2 years. So why we want to come to Palace, I don't know. He's the kind of guy that goes from club to club. I mean, guy's a waste of space and like useless. Got no quality, no talent, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But the more serious link, and I'll bring it up as a banner again. Calvin Phillips from Manchester City. This is the first time, I think, in a long time that Crystal Palace and Manchester City are looking to do business with each other over a £5 to £6 million deal with a contract of 135 grand a week for Calvin Phillips. Obviously, he joined Manchester City from Leeds in 2021, was it?
2022, December 2022.
2022 from Leeds. And it's been fair to say that he hasn't got minutes at all under Pep Guardiola.
Can't get in over Rodri in that.
I think he scored 1 goal for Manchester City, and that was a month or two ago against Red Star Belgrade in the Champions League. What is your overall thoughts on this guy?
Well, Calvin Phillips, is a player that we've been linked to, for the last 2 weeks and that. And if we are going to get him, which I hope we do, it's going to be a massive signing. Now, if we get him on loan with an option to buy, I'll take that. If it's just a loan and we've got to pay 5 to 6 mil, I'll take that, because right now we need a CDM. Say if someone like Lerma or Ozo got injured, the players we got to replace them are the likes of Hughes and Riedewald, who are not good enough. Now, Calvin Phillips, he's an experienced player. He's a winner. This guy played in the final for England and that in the Euros a couple of years back. He's won the treble at Manchester City. He's got experience. He's played with superstars. That guy is always willing to do the dirty work and cover a lot of ground. And he kind of reminds me of Chet Doucouré to some sort of similarities in that. He can play CDM. He can play centre mid. He can push forward up the pitch. And he's a pretty good player to have in the middle, holding the team. He's mainly like the spine of a starting 11, to be fair. We saw that at Leeds. We saw that, when he played for England at times. We know this guy's a good player. He just needs confidence. He just needs minutes. If we do sign him, we got to play him. We got to guarantee him. If we're paying in, 135k, in wages and the 5 to 6 mil, he's definitely got to be starting in that middle, and it's going to be unlikely that the likes of Ozo and Hughes are going to get in and start over him. He's probably going to play alongside Lerma with Eze and Cat if this does happen and that, because this is a massive player. He's got a big reputation and that, and I think it hasn't worked out for Manchester City, like you said, because he can't get in, he can't get minutes, you got players in the middle like Rodri, De Bruyne, and all of that, John Stones, you're not getting past them if you're Calvin Phillips, he's a good player, but the reason why we haven't seen the best of him is because, he's not getting any minutes. So I'm looking forward to us, trying to get him, and hopefully we do get the deal done quicker, sooner rather than later. Do you know what I mean? But I like the idea, mate. Honestly, I can't wait if he does sign.
The thing is, right, guys, for those of you who don't know, well, obviously you don't know, I was talking to Tristan about this earlier, and my opinions are mixed, because the trouble is, right, is that, let me talk about the negatives first, right? Because you know me, I love to talk negative. The thing is that Calvin Phillips has had a season and a half of pretty much not playing. Is he going to be the same player that we saw at Leeds? That's my first point.
That's a big question.
Is he going to be good enough? He's not good enough for Man City. I think that's what is clear to us. And Man City, since over the last year and a half, they've won everything. Yeah, they've won the Premier League, League Cup, FA Cup, Club World Cup, Champions League. They've won everything. Cup. Right? Yeah. And Calvin Phillips has hardly been a part of it. Now, and also the trouble is, right, is that I don't trust this board to get the deal done quick enough. And what I mean by that is the board at the start of January said that they want a centre mid, Phillips, a left winger, and a left back. That means that they've only done 1 out of 3 of those targets if we take too long getting this deal done. Now, we shouldn't be haggling over £5-6 million for this guy. I think it is. I think it is a massive. I think it's a massive grab. I think it is a massive steal.
The bargain. Like, it's a bargain for us.
That's the word I was looking for. He's an absolute bargain. Just take him. Take him and move on to your next target.
Exactly.
Don't make it when, I mean, look at when Zaha left. We was linked with Franca for ages, and it took 2 weeks. I know he was a player from Brazil and there was permit problems and stuff like that, but it took 2 weeks for us to sign him. If it takes that long for us to sign Phillips, that's the season. That's the window done. And I don't think our board are flexible enough to look at 2 players at once.
Yeah.
So that is my point. But the positives are he is crucial in terms of the players that we're missing. That will basically, if he is still good enough for a team like Palace,
I think he is.
We'll see. We don't know. He will cancel out pretty much the Decore injury, whether it's for a loan till the end of the season, whether it's a loan with option to buy, or even if it's a buy with a long-term contract. We never know. So that will cancel out the Decore injury, and then that leaves really the Elise injury, and then that will be solved come the end of the month. Yeah, so we will have practically a fully fit squad going into February, which is great when you've got the likes of Brighton and Chelsea and that coming up in February. So yeah, we'll see about that anyway. Yeah. But and also I think it's great for Phillips himself. To try, I think it is the most logical. If you look at the other, what's going on here? I think the most logical choice for him is Palace, because if you look at the other teams that are involved in this that are looking to get him, Newcastle are high on their list, but will he get games at Newcastle? Really?
Nah, he's not going to get a game at Newcastle.
They have a lot of injuries right now, but once those injuries come back, he is not playing.
Palace seems to be the right option because Everton, he's been linked to Everton, Everton, what's going on there with their point deduction and their financial fair play rules or whatever, you wouldn't want to go and be a part of that, to be fair, because
they get relegated. I mean, so Palace in terms of that, I'm not going off track here, but in terms of Everton, I mean, I do think it could be the final straw from that point deduction. We'll see how many points it will be. I've heard it'll be around about 6, which will put them back into the bottom 3.
Yeah. They're going to be signing any players, same with Forest, not to go off topic, but just like the facts of what I've heard, isn't it? Yeah.
Apparently, from what I've heard, West Ham have a few financial problems as well, and that's another team.
You wouldn't want to go there.
There's another team that linked with. And then going abroad, he's linked with Juventus. I'm not a massive viewer.
Another side
that's country, but will Phillips want to? Does Phillips?
You know what?
Would it be right for someone like Phillips to go and try and rebuild his career abroad at a massive team in Italy?
Well,
probably not.
Juventus are another side as well. Just quickly got to say they've had financial problems all over in their history. They've got a bad reputation.
So it's Palace and Newcastle,
exactly.
And I would say to rebuild your career, and there is the question of will Roy play him? If he doesn't,
he's got no option but to play him. He's a massive signing for us. It's like if we signed Tanny Abraham up front, you play him over Redwan and Matej. You know what I mean?
I mean, really, if you look at it this way, it's great for Roy because that would mean that he could paper over the cracks and he ain't got to play Ozo because it would be Phillips and Lerma in that DM. That's great for Roy because then he ain't got to play what's his name? He ain't got to play Ozo. So. Look at it that way.
One of the comments. Mason just look.
What?
The comment, Joseph. Oh my.
Joseph watching from jail in North Korea. Oh,
sorry, it's made me laugh. That.
Oh, I'll put it up. You deserve it.
Oh God.
But
unbelievable.
Honestly, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I was expecting this live to be quite short because obviously we've talked about Everton Palace before. Hopefully the live stream for Arsenal Palace will be longer as it's Premier League. It's our first Premier League game since the end of 2023. Yeah, so thankfully, great reception in North Korea. Okay. So yeah, in terms of the Arsenal live people, I will be looking to try and get a couple of Arsenal fans on here as well to get their perspective on the game, because it is quite a massive game for both clubs, really and truthfully. So yeah, it's still 1-1 at Bolton. How many was it? It was 4 minutes between Bolton and Luton's goals.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the guy who I want to try and get on the Arsenal live, Chag, watching from Epstein Island. God. Yeah, let's get that comment off. Yeah. And to be fair, yeah, you're right. Yeah, my mobile does normally die after 15 minutes, so I am wary of that as well. No real shocks in the cup as we speak. Wolves have equalised against Brentford, who got their goal. Semedo, that's it. Yeah. Bristol City still 1-0 up against West Ham, so I'm looking forward to watching the rest of that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Obviously, I will do a reaction video to the game. That's it, Charles. Thank you very much. We'll try and get you on for Friday's preview against Arsenal. But yeah, I will release my review for the game either tomorrow night, depending whether it goes extra time and penalties, or I will release it on Thursday morning, guys. So yeah, up the Palace as usual. And
hope for the win tomorrow.
Hope for the win tomorrow, even though the odds are against us.
Yeah, massively.
Massively. So yeah, thank you, Tristan, as always. Go subscribe to his channel, Tristan CPFC Vlogs. Please go and subscribe to him, go follow him, and like, share, and subscribe on my channel, Palace by Mason. Big red button always helps me out. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye, people.
See you a lot. Take care.